So as I said, India is poised to become a highly developed country. See, in this world, there are actually two worlds. The world of the developed country and the world of the underdeveloped countries. The developed countries are North America, Europe, Japan, Australia. Even China has now joined the group of developed countries. The rest are underdeveloped countries, and India is the most developed of the underdeveloped countries. We were not developed in 1947 when we became independent, because the British policy was not to allow India to industrialize. They did not allow us to set up a heavy industrial base, because the Britishers thought that if we created an industrial base in India, then Indian industry would become a big rival to British industry. So broad policy was of the Britishers not to allow India to industrialize, keep us backward, feudal. They maintained the zamindari system and so on. But after independence, an industrial base was set up. We set up many iron and steel plants and so on. So India of today is not the India of 1947. In 1947, there were very few industries, very few engineers and so on. Large parts of India was feudal. Today, at least partially, we have become industrialized, not fully, but we have a technical base. We have thousands of very competent engineers. You people in California are the bright Indians. That we have all that is required to become a highly industrialized nation, which means we have, while the potential is there, within 10, 15, 20 years, you can become like Europe or America. But then you have to have the modern-minded political leadership. You have to have a group of people who are in power, who are determined to rapidly industrialize India, rapidly modernize India, and who are not relying on feudal vote banks, that is casteism and communalism. So I don't see how that is possible within the present constitutional system. I have said that some kind of revolution is coming in India. What form it will take, I cannot say. It's very difficult to predict what form it will take, but certainly in the present system, India cannot progress. We will remain poor, we will remain backward. And let me tell you one thing. The worst thing in life is poverty. Nobody respects the poor. When the Chinese and Japanese were poor countries, the Westerners called them yellow races. Today, nobody dare call the Chinese or Japanese yellow races because they are highly industrialized, powerful nations. So, unfortunately, the way of the world is that the poor countries are not respected. Not because the color of your skin is brown or black, but because your country is poor. Nobody respects the poor. The poor are kicked around. You are not given a permanent seat in the UN Security Council. England, which has a population of 64 million, France, which has a population of 66 million, have permanent seats in UN Security Council. You have a population 20 times the size of the population of France and 20 times the population of England, 1.32 billion. And maybe the land area is also 20 times. But you are begging for a permanent seat without veto rights. And even that you will not be given, as long as you remain poor. That is the way of the world. If you want respect, you must make India a highly modern, highly industrialized country like North America and Europe. See, there's one and only one test of every system. Is it raising the standard of living of the masses? That is one and only test. So we have to have a system which raises the standard of living of the Indian masses, which gives people in India prosperous lives, with employment, health care, good education, nutritious food and so on. So with these words, I wish to thank you all, and I am expecting questions from all of you. I was given a list of 25 questions. First question I can answer right away before I come to the other 24. First question was that why is a non-Tamilian, what is it, can you read out? Why is a non-Tamilian?
We'll take over.
Sorry?
We'll have a panel discussion.
Okay, well, so should I sit down, what should I do? Should I not answer this question? Or?
Yes.
But you please ask me that, you have a list of that?
Yes, I do.
You ask me that question. Should I keep standing here or should I?
No, all good.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, so there was a hard-hitting speech by Justice Katju. I think if we have to summarize that speech, it felt like watching a Bengali or a Malayalam movie. Those that have seen a Bengali or a Malayalam movie would know it is very unlike a Bollywood movie. A Bengali movie and a Malayalam movie, starts on a very, very dark, close to reality, very somber and sad note. And the movie continues in that fashion and ends on a very happy note. Whereas a Bollywood movie is always happy. It starts happily, it runs happily, and then it ends happily. So what Mr. Justice Katju explained to us is the real state of India. We certainly are not gathered here to sing Jai Ho and then sing praises. Yeah, I mean, of course, we all have to have fun and then cherish, what India is. But again, there is also a dark side. There is the realistic side to India, and which is what Justice Katju, in a very eloquent, although in a very hard-hitting manner, explained it to us. And let's take it back. Let's chew it. And I'm sure a lot of things that Justice Katju said, we all would agree. I mean, even though one may have different views and your own personal views, but that's not the whole point here. And the idea behind today's occasion is to celebrate Justice Katju and to honor freedom of speech. And with that said, we're going to move to the next segment of our program today. So we're going to felicitate Justice Katju. And let me invite Selvi Murugesan, Ajit Nath, the President of Indian Association of Sacramento, Priya Sundar, the President of Sacramento Tamil Mandram, Karthik Kupuswamy, Shekhar Parmar, Mohan Arunachalam, and Shiva Parameshwaran to the dais, please.
Prepare the draft of the resolution which must be, we should read it out. Yeah, sure. Please prepare it.
So we would like to honor Justice Katju by with a Punnalai, and let me call upon Karthik Murugesan and Shekhar Parmar. Karthik Kupuswamy and Shekhar Parmar for the Punnalai. A Punnalai is a Tamil equivalent of a shawl. Next, I would like to call upon Ajit Nath, Priya Sundar, and Selvi Murugesan to hand over the plaque that honors Justice Katju. Sorry, Ajit Natu. Mr. Natu is the President of Indian Association of Sacramento. Mrs. Priya Sundar is the President of Sacramento Tamil Mandram, and Mrs. Selvi Murugesan, who's a physician and who's also one of the oldest inhabitants of Sacramento. Thank you all. I would like to call upon Mohan Arunachalam and Shiva Parameshwaran to honor and felicitate Justice Katju with a small token of gift on behalf of the Indian community of Sacramento. Rather than calling it as a gift, you would like to call it as a Guru Dakshina. The judge is curious and he wants to know what it is.
We also don't. It's a developing country.
So we're going to go to the next segment of our program, and I would say this is going to be the most interesting segment of the show tonight. And we have the judge, therefore we need an attorney. So let me call upon Meera Dande, who is an attorney by profession, and she used to practice in Madras High Court right after Justice Katju retired. And as Justice Katju broke the news, there is a set of questions, about 25 questions. And I would say most of these questions are controversial. There is nothing in these questions that are non-controversial. And these are pan-Indian issues. These cover a wide spectrum of issues, all the way from our history to our current politics. As a matter of fact, the first question is going to be about the recent Uttar Pradesh elections. And with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Meera and Justice Katju. And let's sit back and let's enjoy the responses, and then let's soak in the alternate views that Justice Katju has to offer to us. Thank you.
I'd like to thank Justice Katju for gracing the occasion, coming to Sacramento. And many judges did their part. They were exemplary judges. It took an effort to get to that position. You occupied the position of the Supreme Court judge, and you laid the law of the land. But you never thought that's enough. You now have transitioned to the next chapter of your life, which is like a social reformer, which you really take it very seriously. And by coming over to Sacramento, we want to offer our small support to your big cause by giving you a medium to express your concerns and express your thoughts of social reform. So we want to, trigger the words that come out of you. Sometimes questions bring out more from the thinker. So we have collected a group of questions from our community, and I'm honored to ask the questions on their behalf. And Justice Katju, if you're ready, we'll get started. It's very difficult for Tamilians to accept a non-Tamil as the representative. Somehow they made you an honorary Tamil, even though your stay in Tamil Nadu was not too long. It was for 5 years as their Chief Justice. So during your tenure as the Chief Justice of Tamil Nadu High Court, Madras High Court, what was your observation about the political system there, the then Chief Minister, Dr. J. Jayalalitha, the judiciary and the attorneys?
When I came to Chennai, I saw on the walls big hoardings, Amma Kalaignar, Amma Kalaignar. I said, what is this? You have nothing else? And what are these Amma and Kalaignar? They are both gangsters. And you people have made them your leaders. And today, what is the position? Your Chief Minister is the stooge of a convict, a jailbird in Bangalore jail. She is running your government from Bangalore jail. Isn't it a disgrace for all of you? Pardon me, I'm not accusing Tamilians alone. Same is happening in my state, UP also. See, first of all, you must understand what is India. I don't know whether any of you can answer that question. What is India? You can't answer, you don't know. Nobody knows in India. Or you all Indian, you don't know. If anybody asks you what is India, you can't answer. So I will tell you what is India. See, India is a country broadly of immigrants. It is like North America. In North America, people came mainly from Europe over the last 400-500 years. In India, people have been coming for thousands of years from outside, mainly from the northwest. Maybe 93-94% people today who are living in India are descendants of immigrants who came from outside India. At one time it was said that Dravidians were the original inhabitants of India and Aryans came from outside. But that theory has also been disproved now. And the present accepted theory is that both Aryans and Dravidians came from outside India. Original inhabitants of India were the pre-Dravidian tribals who are called Adivasis, the scheduled tribes, not scheduled castes. Like the Bhils, the Gonds, the Santhals, the Todas of the Nilgiris. These are the descendants of the original inhabitants of India, the STs, scheduled tribes. They are hardly 6 or 7% today. And their ancestors were treated very badly by our ancestors. Many were slaughtered, then others driven into the jungles and so on. Rest, all of us are outsiders, foreigners in a sense. Why did people keep coming into India? Nobody left India except only on 2 occasions. One was in the 19th century when the British rulers sent out plantation labor, indentured labor to Mauritius or Fiji or Guyana or the plantations, sugar plantations and so on. In the 19th century, there were the poor peasants of UP, Eastern UP and so on. The other wave was in the last 50 years, people like you, highly professionals, highly trained, qualified professionals, IIT graduates and doctors and so on. Otherwise, nobody left India. Everybody kept pouring into India for thousands of years. Why? It is because people migrate from uncomfortable areas to comfortable areas. It is natural, everybody wants comfort. So before the Industrial Revolution, there were agricultural societies everywhere. What do you require for agriculture? You require level land, you require fertile soil, you require plenty of water for irrigation and so on. All this was in abundance in our subcontinent. You go from Rawalpindi, which is now in Pakistan, up to Bangladesh, into deep south, Kanyakumari, all level land, fertile soil, plenty of water, rivers, lakes. So it was paradise. Why should anybody go from India to say Afghanistan, which is covered with snow for 4 or 5 months in the year, rocky, mountainous, harsh terrain, uncomfortable? Everybody wants comfort. If you see the geographical map of India, it's all green. Everybody kept rolling into India. And that is why you have so much diversity in India. So many religions, so many castes, so many languages, so many ethnic groups, so many regional groups. Whichever group of immigrants came, they brought their own language, their religion, their culture and so on. If you compare India with, say, China, China is a little larger in population. I think they are 1.35 billion, we are 1.32 billion. And their land area is maybe 2.5 times or 3 times the Indian land area. But there is broad homogeneity in China. All Chinese have a Mongoloid face. They have one common written script called Mandarin. Mandarin is also a spoken language in large parts of China. But there are other spoken languages like Cantonese and so on. But written script is only one, where we have dozens of written scripts in India. Then 95% Chinese belong to one ethnic group called the Hans, H-A-N. So there is broad homogeneity in China, not absolute homogeneity, but broad homogeneity. Whereas in India there is tremendous diversity. So the only way to keep India together is to give equal respect to everybody, whatever your religion, whatever your community. Otherwise, our country cannot survive for one day. There is such tremendous diversity. What is there common between you and that boy from Nagaland? He has Mongoloid features, you have Caucasian features, he speaks different languages, he lives in the hills, you live on the plains. See, unless you give him equal respect, you cannot stay together. Why should he stay together if you look down on people from Northeast, like many of us do, which is very bad. So, now coming back to my state UP, see, what is this? That you think that by moving towards the right Hindutva agenda, you will win the 2019 Lok Sabha elections. So move towards the right-wing Hindu philosophy, preach Puritanism, that if a boy and girl are going together, they are Romeos, anti-Romeo police squads have been formed. It is just going to lead to more police corruption. See, it is natural, the attraction between male and female is a natural thing, as long as they are not misbehaving in public. But the police will, as you know, is largely corrupt in India. It's not like the American police, which is honest. So policemen will come to you if you are with your girlfriend and say, give me 100 rupees, otherwise come to the police station. Or gutka pan, if you eat. So these puritanical laws will lead to corruption, just like in America when you had the Volstead Act in 1920, when prohibition was imposed by a constitutional amendment in 1920. It was called the Volstead Act. It gave rise to the American mafia. And although it was repealed in 1933 after 13 years, but in the meantime, the mafia in America amassed a fortune. So all these puritanical laws is just stunts. The real problems are massive unemployment, massive poverty, massive healthcare problems. Poor people can't go to a doctor. They can't afford it. These are the real problems, not that eavesdropping is going on, so you are setting up police squads for catching hold of boys and girls, things like that. So now Muslims are feeling very alienated. They feel that we are just, but fact is, India is a country of diversity. You have to take everybody together. You can't run the government by dividing people. It can't continue for very long. I have said the real father of India is the great Emperor Akbar, who took everybody along with him. Not this fellow Gandhi. See, unfortunately, you people are very easily bluffed. Very easily you can be taken for a ride by any fraud. Gandhi, father of the nation. See, you don't apply your brains, and you have been misled so many times. Should I talk about Gandhi?
Yes.
See, I mean, it's so easy to take you for a ride. You are like children. See, I have to put up blog. I wrote. See, whatever I say, I give my reasons. You can disagree with me, but then point out the flaws in my reasoning and give your counter reasoning. Not by shouting and screaming. You don't prove or disprove anything by shouting or screaming. I said, this fellow Gandhi, he was a lawyer for 20 years in South Africa. He came to India around 1915 and entered politics. And he was killed in 1948. For 33 years, he was in India. In almost every article or speech of his, which you can read in the collected works of Mahatma Gandhi, which is a Government of India publication in several volumes. What does he say? He advocates Ram Raj, he advocates cow protection, he advocates caste system, Varnashram. He was a strong supporter of caste system. If you are in a sadhu, in an ashram, you can say whatever you like. But once you enter into politics and you preach Hindu ideas, can a Muslim remain in such an organization where its leader is constantly hammering Hindu ideas of caste, cow protection, caste system, Ram Raj? Then Muslim will be driven towards a communal organization like the Muslim League, which happened. So, did he not further the British policy of divide and rule, divide Hindus and Muslims? And therefore, objectively, what was Gandhi not acting as a British agent? I am not saying subjectively, whatever his motivation may be, we can talk about that. But what is the effect? And then to say, oh, Gandhi gave us freedom, see, again talking nonsense. See, do you think anybody gives up his empire without a fight? Did the American colonies get independence from Britain by hunger strikes or by going on salt march. No, they had to raise an army, continental army under George Washington. You have to fight with guns to get freedom. Nobody gives up his empire without a fight. Did the Vietnamese get freedom by singing Raghupati Raja for Rajaram? No, they had to fight with guns first against the French, then against the Americans. Did the South Americans get freedom from Spanish rule because of Satyagraha? No, Bolivar, the great liberator, you may have heard of him, Bolivar. He raised battalions. You have to fight with guns to get freedom. Nobody gives up his empire without a fight. Do you think the British would have walked out just because Gandhi went on hunger strike? No, you got freedom firstly because the Second World War broke out and Germany attacked England and possibly could have conquered England had American help not been given to England. But Americans also extracted their price. They told the Britishers, you have to open up the Indian market. You alone will not monopolize it. So 1947 was just opening up the Indian market. The Britishers had become too weak and there was Americans put pressure on the British. It has nothing to do with Gandhi.
Justice Katju, at
Yes.
this point,
Yes.
at this point,
Yes.
when you're talking about the British, we would like to ask you, what would have been India's structure if the British had not come to India? If they had not ruled India, there is one thought that they unified India because it was princely states put together as a union. So would India have been something like USSR? Would we have seen more secession of states, more civil wars? What would have been the structure of India politically, culturally, and as an educational, a mecca, and its respect in the world?
First, let me tell you that before the British came to India, India was a very prosperous country. About 30-40% of our population before the British came to India were engaged in handicraft industry. We had a massive industry in India. It was not mill industry, it was handicraft industry. Our textiles, our silk, Murshidabad silk, Dhaka muslin, then from your Tamil Nadu, so many things used to be exported from the Middle East right up to the Roman coins in Tamil Nadu and so on. We had about 30% of the world's trade. Today we have hardly 2%. What the British did, they came into India and they smashed our handicraft industry by various ways, and to get hold of the Indian market, they smashed our handicraft industry, and India became a very poor country. Had the British not come to India, that massive handicraft industry existing in India, in my opinion, would have led to capital formation, which initially would have been primitive capital accumulation, but that would have led to creation of a certain modern industry as it happened in Europe. In Europe also, the modern industry did not fall from the sky. It developed from the feudal system. It was born from the feudal, it evolved from the feudal system by capital accumulation. So India was poised for an industrial revolution which would have taken place, and we would have become like North America or Europe had the British not come to India. But at that crucial time they came to India and they smashed our handicraft industry. They made India a market and a source of raw materials, source of cheap labor, and they made us a very impoverished country. You know, in 1757, after the Battle of Plassey was fought, Lord Clive went to Murshidabad. At that time, that was the capital of Bengal, not Calcutta. The capital of the Nawabs, the Siraj-ud-Dawla and others, it was Murshidabad. And he said, this is a richer town than London. You can read even in your internet you can see. So, we were a very prosperous country because 30-40% of our population was engaged in industry. Of course, it was handicraft industry. So, Unfortunately, the British caught us on the wrong foot and they leveled us to the ground, and we are still suffering from the evils of colonialism.
So you didn't think that they unified the country by the railways, the education system, giving English as its language?
They did unify the country, but they taught English and all just to produce clerks. Their aim was to, a ruler must have some middle layer so as to reach the local people. So they gave education to create clerks. That was their, to run their administration, not that they wanted to benefit India.
But Sardar Patel brought the country together where he had to go and talk to the princely states whether you are going to join the union or not. It forced India to come together as one unified country, or else we would have stayed somewhere like USSR.
Absolutely. Absolutely, those princely states had to be destroyed. We had to become united, because if you want modern industry to grow, as you must want, if you want India to become prosperous, we have to have large-scale industrialization. But modern industry requires a big market. You can't be divided into small pieces. Because, see, why did the nation states grow in Europe? It was because of the growth of industry. Modern industry requires a big market. You have to sell your goods all over the country. A factory in Karur is selling goods in Punjab, in UP and so on. But if you are broken up into small states, how can modern industry grow? That was necessary.
Thank you for answering the question. Now there is a hot topic which is in everybody's mind, which is BJP has stormed back to power in UP after 14 years. And you have Yogi Adityanath as its chief minister. It's no secret that he was a Hindu fundamentalist. He is a person who got into prominence because of the Ram Janmabhoomi and other Hindutva issues. Now, what is your prediction about UP? What's going to happen? What happens in UP definitely affects India as whole. So what are your predictions about UP?
First of all, you must understand BJP is broadly controlled by the RSS. It calls itself a cultural organization and so on. But all the top leadership of BJP are all RSS people who have been in RSS for 30, 40 years. RSS is rabidly anti-Muslim and anti-Christian. You cannot run India by dividing India. There's so much diversity that you have to take everybody together. And BJP runs on dividing the people on religious lines. How can you run the country like this? And I doubt whether these people really, these BJP, RSS people really know much about Hinduism. I have grave doubts. The great Hindu intellectualism which took place in ancient India, I don't think they have much idea about. However, let's not go into that. But it is going backward. It is going into the Middle Ages. This religious fundamentalism means really going backward. See, I tell you very frankly, I believe all religions are superstitions and false. The truth lies in science, but science is not something complete. It is not something permanent or final. It is always in a state of development. But that is where the truth lies. All religions are superstitions, whether our religion or any other religion, superstitions and false. Truth lies in science, and that is where India must move towards. If you want to make your country prosperous, you have to shift from religion towards science. BJP is nothing but religion.
So BJP, when it has come back to power, you including many political pundits did not predict that. And we won't hold it against you because that's the trend. Because political pundits are not being able to predict election results, be it Brexit or be it the Trump victory. Why do you think the trend is? Is it the elitists, are not able to predict what is in the minds of the electorate? You can talk generally, or you can talk specifically to UP.
See, when you cannot solve the real problems, which are the problems of poverty, unemployment, malnourishment of children, healthcare, etc. When you don't know how to solve these problems, you can't solve them. Then what do? Then you say, you try to find a scapegoat that it is Muslims who are responsible for all our evils. See, he just says, what did Hitler do? He said, oh, it is Jews who are responsible for all our evils. You find a scapegoat. So it is because you can't solve the real problems. And there is nothing, BJP has no solution to the real problem. Not that Congress has any solution or any other political. All parties I regard in the same boat. Congress party was in power for so long, they looted India. They looted India, and I think this Sonia Gandhi must have taken away lakhs of crores of rupees of Indian wealth to foreign banks. So I'm not blaming BJP alone. All parties are gangsters. As I told you, these political parties in India are rogues, rascals, dacoits, gangsters. They should be shot. They polarize people, they spread hatred among the masses on religious and caste lines, and they are incorrigible. Let me tell you, you can't reform them. They are incorrigible. They have to be executed. You can't do anything to them except shoot them.
Sir, honorable, so what is the solution?
Revolution. I told you, I'm not going to repeat again and again. An intelligent man understands when you've told once. If you're not intelligent, I have to keep on repeating.
No, what they're asking is, the politicians, when you think about politicians, as you mentioned, they are thugs, they're morally, bankrupt people.
Rascals, rogues.
Etc., etc. But the thing is, how can these common people here, who are good at heart, go and survive in the politics? What can they do in order to clean up the system, be idealistic, and be the politicians which you would admire?
You do what I am doing. I'm not going with a gun and fighting a war or something. I am spreading ideas, rational ideas, scientific ideas. You should do the same. Please follow my Facebook posts and blog, in which I'm trying to educate people. That how long will you people remain befooled? For example, this Pakistan. It is actually no country. It is a fake artificial entity created by the British so that Hindus and Muslims keep fighting with each other. Pakistan was created on the basis of the bogus two-nation theory that Hindus and Muslims are two separate nations. Now, can religion be the basis of a nation? If religion is the basis of a nation, then England should be divided into 10 parts, because some people in Britain are Hindus, so carve out one portion of Britain, give it to Hindus. Some are Muslims, carve out one portion, give it to Muslims. Some are Jews, some are Roman Catholics. Then Protestants have so many varieties. I mean, can any country survive in this manner? We were taken for a ride by the Britishers, who befooled us. You see what happened in 1857. That is a watershed. Before 1857, there was no communal problem in India. Hindus and Muslims used to live like brothers, help each other. Hindus used to participate in Eid and Muharram. Muslims used to participate in Holi and Diwali before 1857. Then when the mutiny took place in 1857, Hindus and Muslims jointly fought against the British. And after suppressing the mutiny, the British decided that the only way to control India is divide and rule. And letters started coming from London, the Secretary of State for India in London, to the Viceroy here, that make Hindus and Muslims fight with each other. If you go online, on Google search, you just type history in the service of imperialism, which is a speech given by Professor B.N. Pandey in the Raj Sabha. History in the service of imperialism. The quotations are there, the letters which came from London that make Hindus and Muslims fight with each other. All communal riots start after 1857. The British collector would call the Hindu Panditji in the night secretly, give him money and say, from tomorrow start speaking against Muslims. And similarly, he would call the Muslim Maulana secretly, give him money and say, from tomorrow start speaking against Hindus. Then agent provocateurs were hired. Agent provocateur means hirelings. That when Muslims are saying prayers in some mosque, start playing loud music so that they are disturbed and they think that these Hindus are mischievous people, they are disturbing us. Or you slaughter a cow and throw the carcass overnight into a Hindu temple and write on the wall, Allahu Akbar, so that Hindus think that all Muslims are mischievous people. Then the Minto Mole reforms came in 1909, by which separate electorates were provided, that Hindus can only vote for Hindu candidate, Muslim candidate. Aligarh Muslim University was created. Banaras Hindu University was created. How can a university be Hindu or Muslim? University means something universal, but all part of divide. So this poison was injected into our society, this communal poison, year after year, decade after decade, and we got brainwashed and we started believing, the Hindus started believing that Muslims are wicked people, and Muslims started believing that Hindus are wicked people, and there was partition of India on the basis of this two-nation theory, which is all bogus. And I said, we are one people. When I meet Pakistani, I'm sure when you meet Pakistani, you will not feel any different from them. Those who can speak Hindustani, you will see they also talk in Hindustani. Urdu is actually Hindi. And they look like us, we share the same culture. We were one country from Mughal times. So we are bound to reunite. In fact, in Atlanta, where I'm going on 2nd April, I'm going to announce the creation of Indo-Pakistan-Bangladesh Reunification Association. We have to spread the idea. It doesn't mean we are going to reunite just by making this association, but the seed has to be planted. If you want fruits after 10 years, when the tree will grow up, then only it can bear fruits. So you have to plant the seed today. And I know it will not give the fruit today. It may take 10 years, but unless you plant the seed today, after 10 years also you will not get the fruit.
I really commend you for addressing this, because not many people talk about this. Because in India, if you talk about unification with Pakistan, it's blasphemy. In Pakistan, if you talk about India, it's blasphemy. So
because both are idiots. You are also idiot, they are also idiots. You are 90% idiot and I call Pakistani 95% idiot. So they asked me, why have you given 5% extra marks to us? I said, because you declared yourself an Islamic state, so I'll give you 5% extra marks.
Justice Katju, actually we cannot abuse people to see the enlightenment, right? You can't abuse them to see a point. But anyway, let's talk about reverse engineering. You explained as to how the division happened between the Muslim community and the Indian community in the unified India before 1857. So reverse engineering is because in your blog, in your Facebook post, you've talked about the unification of India, Pakistan and Bangladesh. Leaving the utopian idea aside, why should we even do that? Because as if India doesn't have enough problems, because those two countries are failing states. We have enough problems.
Are you not a failing state? Are you also not a failing state?
Actually, I would say India is a failing state because we have very stable government, we have nuclear weapons, and we are not afraid about the nuclear weapons as regards falling into bad hands, falling into people who can abuse it. At least that fear is not there with Americans. So with Pakistan, that's not the case. So my question is, why should it happen? Second part of the question is, how is it going to be possible?
I'll tell you about possibility. Let me tell you that first the idea has to be thrown. If you remember, Italy was divided into 100 small principalities. Mazzini gave the idea of Italian unification. When he spoke of Italian unification, people said he's only a dreamer, these are all idle, wishful thinking and sentimental nonsense and all that. But that dream became a reality by the works of Cavo and Garibaldi. And Italy was united. Germany was united in 1990 after being separated for 45 years. Vietnam was united in 75. So we are one country. See, 99% Hindus are good people, 99% Muslims are good people. 99 Indians are good people, 99% Pakistanis are good people. I have many Pakistani friends. They are just like you and I. They are these very decent people. I'm sure there are a lot of Pakistanis in America which you must have met. Do you think that they are wicked people? That they are terrorists and gone through it? It's all wrong. They are decent people, good people. 99%, yes, 1% wicked people will be everywhere. But what does our Indian media preach? That all Pakistanis are terrorists, they have nothing to do with it except throw bombs and this and that, poisoning our minds. This is what many politicians do, much of the media does, trying to instigate each other. You see, as long as you remain divided, Pakistan was created so that Hindus and Muslims should keep fighting with each other. If you keep fighting each other, how can you progress? And when you unite under a strong secular government which does not tolerate religious extremism, either Hindu or Muslim, then you will have a huge market and your industry can grow, because modern industry requires a big market. And when you, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh unite, we will have a big market for our industry and our industry can grow much faster. But the government must be very strict about secularism. Secularism does not mean that you cannot practice your religion. Secularism means religion is your private affair, but the state will have nothing to do with it. State will be neutral so far as religious, and state will not have any religion. It's your private affair. You can go to temple, you can go to mosque or gurdwara or church, anywhere. Secularism doesn't ban you from practicing your religion, but it says the state will have nothing to do with it.
Thank you very much for that answer. And that I won't even say utopian dream. It is a possibility. And let's hope that in a few years.
We are one country, it is inevitable, not just a possibility. It's a question of time.
But the
because you people have been brainwashed into by the propaganda of Britishers, and then after that by Western interests into thinking that all Muslims are your enemies. Once I remove all that rubbish in your heads, see, that's what I said, that if 90% Indians are fools. You don't have brains here, you have got cow dung and dust here, straw dust. Now, my job is to remove all the cow dung in your head.
How is it going to happen?
It is going to happen by ideas, by spreading this idea. You see, the truth has great power. Let me tell you one thing. If what I am saying is true, you may not accept it today because you may be shocked. It is something you have never heard of before. Today you may not accept it, tomorrow you may not accept it, but day after tomorrow you will accept it. Because truth has great power. When Copernicus said that it is not the sun which goes around the earth, it is the earth which goes around the sun, the heliocentric theory, people said this man is mad because the Bible said it is the sun which goes around the earth. But because he was true, his idea was not accepted immediately. It took almost 100 years, but ultimately it was accepted. Truth has great power. Satya mein badi shakti hoti hai. So what I am saying is true, the day, and I am positive of what I am saying is true. You are not enemies of each other. You have got the same problem as Pakistanis have. That is poverty, unemployment, healthcare problems, water shortage. You know, in Karachi, I was told there's tremendous water shortage. Lahore is better off. But Karachi, see, you should be helping each other instead of fighting each other. So you must unite. You are one people actually.
Thank you.
Artificially divided.
Probably in 100 years, people would say there was a Justice Katju, who had dreamed this big, wonderful dream, and it came true. Now, moving on to another very important subject, the Delhi rape case. Unless you were living in the mud houses of Mongolia, there is no chance you didn't know about it. Even those people knew about that case. And India got a bad reputation about sexual harassment. So, do you agree that women have the right to independently travel in the night, dress up as they like, and not be sexually harassed? And what needs to change in India politically, law enforcement, so that the sexual harassment in India is reduced?
First of all, I want to tell you my view. Again, my views are sometimes regarded so strange that people say, oh, he's talking rubbish and this and that. I think this sexual harassment has been overplayed. And it has been deliberately overplayed. Why? Because when you can't solve the real problems of massive poverty, massive unemployment, massive malnourishment, 50% children being malnourished, and health care, when you can't solve the problem, you try to divert attention from the real problem and say, no, real problem is women are being harassed. Real problem is that gays are not getting rights. Gay rights, that is the real problem. Not you should, whether you have food in your stomach is not relevant. Whether you have a job is not relevant. The relevant is whether gays have rights or not. I wrote an article for which I was strongly attacked. I said, what is all this gay? You are just diverting attention from the real problems to trivial issues. I agree that gays should be given freedom. But it's not such a big issue that you raise a hue and cry and hold demonstrations all over California about it, as you people do. Real problem, unemployment, health care, education, poverty, these are, but you want to deliberately divert attention. And this sexual harassment, it should not be done. I am against it, but it's not such a big issue that you raise a hue and cry that Delhi has become the capital of the world and rape and this and that. It's all deliberate, mischievous propaganda.
I understand food is very important, but everything can be tackled simultaneously is my humble opinion.
I'm not in favor of rape or something, by the way. I'm saying it's not such a big issue that you make such a hue and cry over it.
Okay, let's talk about holy cows. Holy cows. Most of us know your opinion about Jallikattu and the beef eating ban. Jallikattu you support because of cultural freedom. Meat eating ban is because of individual freedom. So, where do we draw a line as regards freedom and animal rights?
Listen, regarding Jallikattu, I supported the Tamilians' agitation. As I said in many TV interviews, that see, India is a country of great diversity, as I just mentioned, because it's a country of immigrants. So to keep united, we must give respect to the culture and traditions of peoples of all parts of India. For North Indians, Jallikattu may not be important. But for Tamilians, because it is connected with their Pongal festival, which is a very big festival in Tamil Nadu, Jallikattu is held, I think, at that time. So it's important to them, and for centuries it's been going on. I believe there's reference to Jallikattu in the Sangam literature of Tamil. So, as long as there is no excessive cruelty to the bull, there are some aberrations sometimes that chili powder was thrown into the eyes of the bull to make it more excited, or stabbing it with a spear, or pouring alcohol in its mouth. Those excesses should not be done. Otherwise, I don't see any problem in Jallikattu. And you see, some cruelty is done to almost every animal. If you go to do fishing, when you take fish out of water, it can't breathe in air, it will start flip-flopping in agony and die in agony. So should fishing be banned? In India, you go everywhere, there are bullock carts carrying loads of goods. So should, that must be uncomfortable to the bullocks. So should you stop the bullock carts? In horse riding, you have to kick the horse on its belly with your heel to make it run fast. And to slow it down, you have to pull the rein. So there's a bit in the mouth which is naturally giving some discomfort to the horse. So should horse riding be banned? When you want to, teach a dog some tricks or discipline the dog, you have to beat it sometimes. Some cruelty is done to almost every animal. I mean, you can't go to extremes. You have to take a balanced view. Animal cannot be placed on the same footing as a human being. So extremes should not be there, but otherwise I don't see anything wrong in Jallikattu. Now coming to, what was the other part?
Beef eating.
No, beef. Now see, I again said, the whole problem is that you people have been so brainwashed that cow is a mother, go mata. I said, just please consider, can an animal be the mother of a human being? Does it carry any sense? Are there brains here or cow dung here in your head? Talking nonsense, that cow is a mother. And they said, no, it's a mother because the cow gives milk which we drink. I said, then you call Bakri Mata, the goat also drinks and gives milk which you drink. And Bhais Mata, the buffalo also gives milk. Then all that also will start worshipping goats and buffaloes, and the Tibetans drink the yak. There's an animal yak, milk of yak. So yak Mata, and this Arabs drink the milk of camel. So Moot Mata. Oh, what nonsense is this? See, it is, and then I said, look, what is the harm in eating beef? You don't want to eat, it's your problem. You don't eat, I'm not forcing you. But I don't see anything wrong in it. Almost the whole world eats beef. America eats it, Europe eats it, Africa, Arab countries, China, Australia, Japan, even some Buddhist countries, I believe Thailand and all, they eat meat. In India, Kerala, Goa, Northeast. So, those people who eat meat, they are wicked people. And you alone are sadhu sant. Yeah. What nonsense? I'm technically a Brahmin, I'm a Kashmiri Brahmin, but I eat beef whenever it is legally permitted, and my wife does not know. I eat quietly, I eat in Kerala and Goa, but without the knowledge. If my wife gets, she's very religious, she will get very angry with me.
We have a lot more to talk about.
Then people say, oh, it is part of our Hindu culture. I said, look, there's a lot of rubbish also in Hindu culture. You have casteism in Hindu culture, so should we continue casteism? The whole of your culture must not be, part of it must be destroyed. The good part should be taken forward, but why should you take everything forward just because it is part of Hindu culture? I said, use your brain, when will you people develop rational and logical thinking? See, it's just that you have been brainwashed since childhood by your parents or whoever, that eating beef is something wrong. There's nothing wrong, the whole world eats it.
Justice Katju, I'm really searching for a question where I will receive non-controversial answers from you. So let us go back to our 1,000-year-old civilization.
Okay.
India is an ancient civilization, as you said in your speech and also your answers, that we were subject to a lot of foreign invasions. Unlike many countries, for instance, Iran was Zoroastrian, now it's Muslim, and Rome and Italy, Greece, and everything has no longer, their culture is diluted, the religion is gone. So what is so unique about India that it was able to maintain its Bharatiya culture and Hinduism, which is still a majority in the country? What is so unique about India that it was able to maintain it while other countries in the world haven't maintained its ancient culture, their own ancient cultures?
I think it's because since ancient times we had a tradition of rational thinking, there used to be shastraatas, which were debates held in public, where you present your point of view and your opponent presents his point of view before the public, and we had tremendous growth of intellectuals. Let me give you just two examples. The ancient Romans, who built a very great civilization of Caesar and Augustus and all, they felt very uncomfortable with numbers above 1,000 because they expressed their numbers in alphabets. Like 1 is I, 5 is V, 10 is X. You would be knowing L is 50, C is 100, D is 500, and M is 1,000. There was no alphabet expressing a number above 1,000. So if an ancient Roman had to write 2,000, he would have to write MM. If he had to write 3,000, he would have to write MMM. And if he had to write 1 million, he would have to write M 1,000 times. He would go mad. Well, we in India, we created the concept of zero. This decimal system was the most revolutionary step forward for mankind. And it was the Hindus who did it. In fact, the Europeans called the decimal system Arab numerals, but Arabs called them Hindu numerals. So are they really Arabic or Hindu? The fact that they are Hindu is proved by the fact that these languages like Arabic, Persian, Urdu, they are written from right to left. If you have any friend, an Arab friend or Persian or Urdu writer, he will write his language from right to left. But you ask them to write any number, they will write it from left to right. You make that experiment. Now what does it indicate? Is there any Urdu writer here? In this hall? No? Alright. You ask any of your friends who write Urdu or Persian or Arabic to write any number, he will write it from left to right. While in language he writes from right to left. What does it indicate? It indicates that these numbers were taken from a language which was written from left to right. And now it is accepted that these were Hindu numerals, and the concept of zero was the most revolutionary concept. So this was invented by Indians, so we could express astronomical numbers by adding zeros. For example, 1000 sahasra, 1 with 3 zeros. You want to write 1 lakh, you add 2 more zeros. 1 crore, another 2 zeros. 1 Arab, another 2 zeros. 1 Kharab, another 2 zeros. 1 Padm, another 2 zeros. 1 Neel, another 2 zeros. 1 Shant, another 2 zeros. 1 Mahashankar. So you have names for these numbers, astronomical numbers. You have names for them. Whereas ancient Romans felt very uncomfortable with numbers above 1000 because they had no concept of zero. This was a creation of Indians, Hindus, and because of it, human race could move forward. Without this, you could not have moved forward, or you would have moved forward very slowly. Or take another example. You know the alphabet, English alphabet, A, B, C, D up to Z. Now this is all arranged randomly. There is no system. Why D followed by E? No reason. Why E followed by F? No reason. Why H followed by I? No reason. All jumbled up randomly. Whereas in our Sanskrit, the great grammarian Panini, born 2500 years ago, who wrote the book called Ashtadhyayi, greatest book on grammar ever written. In his first 14 sutras, see, he arranged the alphabet systematic, scientific. Just see. He says, cover, ka, kha, ga, gha, nga. These are all sounds coming from the throat. The cover, ka, kha, ga, gha, nga. All sounds coming from the throat. Then cha, cha, ja, cha, ya. All sounds coming from the middle of the tongue. Then ta, tha, da, da, na. All sounds coming from the roof of the mouth. Ta, tha, da, dha, na. Sounds coming from the tip of the tongue. Then pa, pa, ba, ba, ma. Sounds coming from the lips. All arranged in sequences of five letters, and depending on which part of the face the sound is coming from. And the second and fourth will always be an aspirant. Aspirant means a letter with her combined. For example, ka plus ha is kha, ga plus ha is kha. In your Tamil there are no aspirants, by the way, and in my language Kashmiri also there is no aspirant. So that is why my wife, and she can't say ghar, she says gar. And that's what you people also, there are no aspirants in Tamil.
So your summary is, it's because India has such richness in culture.
Scientifically arranged alphabets.
Science.
Even in such a minor matter, the arrangement of alphabets, we have done it very scientifically, unlike the Roman alphabets, which is used in English also, A, B, C, D up to Z, all randomly arranged, no science, no reason why P is followed by Q, Q is followed by R, nothing, no reason haphazardly.
So the strength of Indian culture, the strength of it itself is the reason why it is able to withstand all kinds of invasion.
Exactly.
And I have a few more political questions to ask, Bihar and other things, but I am dying to ask your legal opinion, and to keep your, never to forget your law. So recently, traveling, playback singers, S.P. Balasubramaniam and other playback singers received a legal notice from Ilayaraja saying that they cannot render his compositions because it's a violation of copyright laws. So do you think that it is a violation of copyright laws for singers to sing Ilayaraja's compositions or any music director's composition, especially when the music director has received money from the producers and is being paid for these songs for movies?
Frankly, unless I study this issue in greater detail, I will not be able to express it.
I totally take that answer from you. Thank you. Okay, Bihar had, you've talked about the history of India, and we cannot talk about the history of India without realizing the Bihar civilization. So Bihar at one point was the pinnacle of culture, education. Why has it not lived up to its standards? And can you also address Odisha? Odisha, you were Chief Justice of Odisha.
No, I will not.
You was never. Oh, sorry. So why is it that Bihar never lived up to its great potential?
At one time, Bihar was the center of Indian civilization. The great Magad Empire, great Gupta Empire. Lord Buddha came from Nepal. He came to Bihar, where he did his tapasya and got enlightenment and so on. In both Gaya, which I visited. It was a Nalanda University. It was a great center of culture and learning. But I cannot say why it has gone down. It is very sad, such a great state, why it has become so backward. And in fact, in the lighter vein, sometimes I say something, people take it otherwise, and as a joke, I said that, you see, these Pakistanis are demanding Kashmir, so we'll give Kashmir on the condition that Pakistanis also take Bihar along with it. As a joke, I said it just as, and then the Biharis got mad at me, the chief minister condemned me. You can see on YouTube, just type Justice Katju Bihar and you'll see, and my effigy was burned and whatnot.
Bihar also, apart from Orissa.
Then about Odisha also, in lighter vein, I wrote that, you see, ever since the Emperor Ashok gave a thrashing to these Udiyas in the Battle of Kaling, these Udiyas have been a dejected lot since the Battle of Kaling. So it's all in lighter vein, and they burned my effigy, and then I had to apologize to both of them. I said, I'm very sorry, I did not mean to hurt your feelings, I was just joking. But people in India, they don't have a sense of humor. They were very angry with me.
I think Supreme Court also doesn't have a sense of humor. So in DC Saxena versus Honorable Chief Justice case, Supreme Court had opined the purpose of contempt of court is to uphold the majesty and dignity of law. In by contentious words or writing, if the common man is led to lose his respect for the judiciary, then the confidence reposed in the court are rudely shaken and the offender needs to be punished. So, what is your opinion on common man critiquing judges of the High Court or Supreme Court in public? What if the critic is a sitting High Court judge like Justice Karnan or a retired Supreme Court judge like you? Supreme Court had issued a contempt of court against both of you. So, what is your opinion on contempt of court?
Originally, the law of contempt, this originated in feudal times because there was the king as the superior and the people were his subjects, subordinate to the king. And the judges were just appointees of the king. They were agents of the king. The judicial power was really a sovereign power, the power of the king. At one time, king himself used to decide cases, but later on, because he had so many other functions, military, administrative and so on, so he delegated this function to persons known as judges, but they were exercising the function of the king. And since in feudal times, the people are subordinate to the king, so they must not criticize the king, and therefore since judges are performing the function of the king, so people should not criticize judges also. That was a feudal concept. In modern times, this relationship is reversed. Now the people become supreme and all state authorities become servants of the people. Earlier the king was supreme, people were subordinate. Now the people are supreme and state authorities are subordinate. So in modern times, people have a right to criticize their subordinates. All the state agencies are nothing but servants of the people in a democracy. Can't you criticize your servant? If your servant is not doing, because you don't have servants in America. In India, if you have a servant who is not doing the work of cooking or something properly, can't you say that, look, you haven't done your work properly? So the people should have the right to criticize judges. Judges are nothing but servants of the people. And the confidence in the judiciary is built by the behavior of judges, upright behavior of judges. If you do behave and function in an upright manner, normally you will not. I never faced any problem in my judicial career.
Probably there was nothing to criticize at all.
No, I used to say to, when I was Chief Justice of Madras High Court, I used to say to the lawyers, please, you can say anything in my court, you can call me a fool, you can call me a thief, you can do anything, I will not take any action of contempt. I am not going to waste my time over all this. Yes, if you don't let me function, if you jump onto the dais and run away with my file, then how can I decide the case? See, let me justify my salary, let me work, otherwise you can say whatever you like, inside court, outside court, on Marina Beach or anywhere. I am not going to take action because I don't take this seriously. So this is my approach, that and this is the approach in Western countries also. In Western countries, in England, if you say to judges you are a fool or something, they will not take any action. So you should be, I mean, why should you bother about all this? If you are upright, if your conscience is clean, why should you bother? Let some dogs are barking, some dogs will always bark. See, once what happened, I was Chief Justice of Madras High Court. And two very senior judges of Madras High Court came to my chamber during lunch interval, looking very, very grim and serious. I said, what happened? They showed me a pamphlet which had been distributed all over the High Court, Madras High Court, calling these judges fools and idiots and whatnot. So they showed it to me. So on looking at it, I started laughing. And they said, Chief, you are laughing and we have been insulted so badly. I said, look, you better learn how to overlook all this, otherwise you will get blood pressure. In a democracy, these things are said every day. You ignore it. Is your conscience clear? They said, yes. Then I said, why do you bother? Just throw it into the waste paper basket. Learn how to ignore all these things. These are things not to be taken seriously, that you are getting so agitated. So then, when I said this to them, they also started laughing and they tore up the leaflet and threw it in the waste paper basket. So, let people say anything they like. Why should you bother?
So, moving on to Punjab elections. We talked about Uttar Pradesh elections. Punjab elections, the Aam Aadmi Party with Arvind Kejriwal did not win. So, do you think now Arvind Kejriwal is no longer viable for any, his future as a Prime Minister candidate is gone? And what went wrong with the Aam Aadmi Party? They had high promise, when they started. What went wrong?
See, the problem with you Indians are that you have got the mind of children, not mature people. Because if once you enter into politics, you have to become corrupt. Just imagine, in every election of MP, you have to spend 10 crore rupees. Every MLA election, 5 crore rupees. Politics is a very expensive affair. So, any fellow who gives you an illusion now, Indira Gandhi came, she said, Garibi hatao, and you all like sheep and cattle voted for her. And she became Prime Minister and she removed Garibi. Then Mr. Modi came, he said, Vikas, development. So all you people voted for him thinking that, the voting age has been reduced in India from 21 to 18 in the year 1988. So at that time, a lot of young people used to come to me from Delhi University, students, all solid supporters of Modi, because they said Vikas means millions of jobs will be created, thousands of factories will be set up, and youth want jobs. So Vikas, there's no Vikas. Now Arvind Kejriwal has come, he said, Imandari, honesty, honesty. You know, like fools, you follow any Pied Piper of Hamelin. I don't know whether you have heard the story. Any rascal or rogue can take you for a ride. Like fools, you will start following him. First Indira Gandhi took you for a ride. Then Modi took you for a ride. Now Kejriwal, see, this fellow is a fraud. This Kejriwal is nothing but a fraud. He wrote a book called Swaraj. Now please listen. So I read the book. He said for India's progress, we have to hand over power to the village panchayats. So I said, anybody who has any idea about the reality of these village panchayats should be knowing that these village panchayats are nothing but centers of casteism and corruption and fraud, and they have been all, all these pradhan and all, they are all big landholders who have grabbed all the Gaon Sabha land. In every village there is some land which is meant for the common use of the village. But it's all being grabbed by these big landholders, and they have become pradhans and all. So handing over power to panchayat means handing over power to these corrupt and casteist people. I mean, this is your level of understanding. You have no understanding of the social realities in this country. This fellow Kejriwal came, honesty, honesty, and you Americans, Indians settled in America, all started sending him money. Because you people are also like children. You don't have brains. You like children. Any fraud who will come in India, and here the Redeemer has come, Savior, Jesus Christ has come, he will save India. And lot of you became, see, earlier you were followers of Modi. Thereafter you became followers of Kejriwal. Any rascal who comes, you will become his follower. Like the Piper of Hamelin, like mice running after the pipe. This is your level of intellect. What can be done?
So it is quite obvious that you're pretty disappointed with many of the leaders here. So
not only leadership, you people.
Okay.
You don't have brain here, you don't have brain, you're cow dung here.
So you alone get to pick the leaders of the next. Let's imagine Justice Katju is going to write a chapter of the next decade of India. You get unfettered power to appoint the Prime Minister of India, Home Minister of India, Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, an ambassador from India to America, even a Bollywood export to Hollywood. So these 5 characters you are going to pick. Who would you pick? And your choices should be from mythological and historical characters. That is the condition.
See, I can't answer this kind of speculative question. But listen to what I really mean. I don't believe in the majority. I told you majority consists of fools and idiots in almost all countries, not just India. You have to have a minority of modern-minded people who are rational, scientific, and who are genuinely patriotic, who genuinely feel for the country and want to uplift India and make it a prosperous country. They would be just a minority, small minority. They must have power. Unless you have that kind of system, nothing is going to change. From one party, you will go to another, one set of ropes, you will go to in the hand of another set of ropes. Nothing basic will change.
We covered India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. The other country in the subcontinent is Sri Lanka. Do you think the Tamils in Sri Lanka have the equal rights as the singular counterparts? Do you think India and the UN should keep an eye out for them?
I have frankly no idea about the situation of Tamils in Sri Lanka, so I won't be able to answer.
The demonetization. Do you think it has brought out the black money? Has it helped?
It was a stunt. It was nonsense. It was a harebrained idea that, see, in 1978, 1,000 rupee notes were demonetized. But in 1978, the value of a 1,000 rupee note would be maybe 10,000-15,000 rupees today because of inflation. I had never seen a 1,000 rupee note in 1978. Today, 1,500 rupee notes are commonplace in India. Because of inflation, they hardly have any value. So it has hit the common man. demonetizing it. That's why you saw thousands of queues standing before ATMs and banks. Many people committed suicide. Lakhs of people lost their jobs because the employer could not pay them. It was a disaster. Madcap idea.
Okay, I want to see a silver lining in this whole thing. So, India has been the largest democracy for the last 70 years. The only blur we have had with this this unfettered democratic rule is that emergency which was declared in 1975. You would have been a young man around that time. Why do you think that never happened again? Whereas other countries, they were a democracy, they lost democracy, they had dictatorship, coup and all those things. India never had it, except for that emergency period in 1975.
Well, we may be heading for an emergency, because what happens when there is an economic crisis, then often the political leaders, they sort of impose some sort of emergency by abolishing civil liberties and all, as it happened in Nazi Germany. In Germany, after the First World War, there was massive inflation, 6 million people were unemployed and so on. So people thought, oh, let's forget our civil liberties, hand over power to a strong man, and they voted for Hitler. So this often happens that when there's an economic crisis, there's a trend shift towards the right to hand over power to a strong man and all that. And we may be heading for an emergency in the coming years.
Thank you, Justice Katju. In all the answers in your speech, one thing is very clear, is your love for India and your love for justice, and we pray that your
You did
social...
not ask me about my love for Tamil Nadu.
Okay. What is so unique about Tamil Nadu that only regional parties are able to make it big there? Why the national parties are pushed to...
I thought you were going to ask me about my attachment to...
Your attachment to Tamil Nadu, which we did, which was asked.
You never asked.
That is your question. Your attachment to Tamil Nadu. Why is it that you are, so you've been given the honorary Tamil position. Why is it?
I tell you, as you know, I'm a total atheist. I don't believe in transmigration of soul and all this nonsense. But had there been transmigration of soul, I think in some earlier birth I was a Tamilian. I don't know how I developed, I joined Allahabad. I was born in 1946, and I joined Allahabad University in 1963 at the age of 17 to do my BS course. And somehow, I don't know how it came in my mind in 1963 that I should know more about my country. So I took a Tamil diploma course while studying in BA in Allahabad University. And I remember the first sentence in my Tamil book was Tamidar Veeram, the bravery of the Tamil people. I still remember. Then after I completed my LLB 1967, then I thought, let me know more about Tamil Nadu. So I joined Annamalai University for 1 year. I took up a spoken Tamil course. That course has, I believe, now been abolished. But in 67 to 68, I studied spoken Tamil. I had picked up a good knowledge of Tamil at one time. So I was in Annamalai University from 67 to 68. I was in Kambar hostel. That was my hostel. I don't know whether there are any Annamalai University students here. No. Then I was appointed Chief Justice of Madras High Court from 2004 to 2005. And even after being sent to Delhi, I retained my contact with Tamil people, and I feel totally at home when I am in Tamil Nadu. I don't feel, although I am a Kashmiri and lived most of my age in UP, but I feel equally at home in Tamil Nadu. That is my attachment. The only explanation is in some previous birth I was a Tamilian.
And in your Facebook post, you who said this Tamil is going to fight against the proxy rule of the jailbird from Bangalore. We will all support you. We are, very honored to have you here, and very honored that you could spend your time here talking words of wisdom. I would hand the mic back to Subi.
Actually, it's not done, so we're going to go over, and there are some additional questions from people, the audience.
Please
So I'm
go
going
ahead.
to take this mic.
I'm in no hurry. You carry on till midnight. You can carry on. I have no problem.
So the first question is from Selvi Murugesan here.
Yes.
Hello, so my name is Akilan Murugesan, and I'm a college student in America. So I have education on my mind. And when I visit India, I notice that the majority aim for private institutions. And it seems that when this is not possible due to financial reasons, they resort to a public institution. Now in America, it's quite the opposite, with the majority going to public institutions and aiming for them. So my question was, in India, why is it that a private institution's education is valued or desired more than a public institution? And do you believe there's a discrepancy between the quality of education at both and the opportunities present afterwards?
See, at one time, almost all the institutions, educational institutions in India were government institutions, except the English medium schools. English medium schools were run by the Church, Catholic Church or Protestant Church, which gave, I was myself a product of a convent school. Otherwise, the educational institutions were government institutions or government financed institutions. But later on it was realized that these are not sufficient because the population of India had grown and these government institutions could not cater to the demands. So large number of private educational institutions have come up. As regards the standard of education, it depends from institution to institution. It all depends on the quality of teachers, what kind of teachers. Many of these private institutions are just money-making rackets. They are there just for making money, they are not really interested in education. I personally am of the opinion that education and healthcare should be free. This is the duty of the government to provide good education and good healthcare to every citizen of the country. This is my belief. If you can't provide it, you have no business to remain in office. It's a welfare state. In welfare state, your job is not just to protect the country from foreign invasion and maintain law and order, but also to look after the welfare of the people. And this is provided in, social security in all in Scandinavian countries. Even in Canada, I believe they provide free healthcare. This healthcare and education must be given free and good quality healthcare and good education. It is the duty of government to give it. Otherwise, you have no business to remain in government. But then there are various vested interests and all that. I need not comment. So it all depends on the quality of teachers. In India, unfortunately, many educational institutions have hopeless teachers. There are some very good institutions like IITs and all, but otherwise many institutions are hopeless. They're just money-making rack, both private as well as government. So education requires people with a mission. A teacher must not be just there to earn his bread, but also with genuine passion to pass on knowledge. That very few people in India have.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Judge, Katju. My name is Jesu. This question is regarding reservation. So when VP Singh passed the law, there was too much tension and protest in North and South. That is number one. And why that it is like that? And number two is, what is your viewpoint on reservation?
See, I am against all caste-based reservation, but special help and facilities should be given to poor people of all castes and communities. That is my clear stand, because now this reservation has become vote bank politics. It is nothing but that. And For some time, reservations for Dalits I could understand. But this reservation for OBC, which came in 1993, it is pure fraud. And let me tell you how. In fact, what happened was, as Mr. VP Singh, as you said, he introduced this reservation for OBC, which is in addition to the reservation for scheduled caste. And this was challenged, the Mandal Commission report was implemented and it was challenged in the Supreme Court. Supreme Court decided in 1993 by a judgment known as Indra Sahni's case. You can see it online. In Indra Sahni's case, judgment was given by Justice B.P. Jeevan Reddy, who was my Chief Justice in Allahabad. He is originally from Andhra Pradesh High Court. He came as Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court and then he became a Supreme Court judge. He gave the majority judgment in Indra Sahni's case, upholding the reservation for OBC. After he had retired, I had gone to Bangalore to the National Law School, and he had also come there. So we met, and during dinner I said, "Sir, you have given a wrong judgment." He said, "How?" I said, "See, in UP and Bihar and all, because I'm from that part of the country, during British rule, there was the zamindari system. And the zamindars were upper caste people. Their tenants were these OBCs like Yadavs and Kurmis and so on. And at that time, that is before independence, Yadavs and Kurmis were really very poor, illiterate, very backward. But after independence, Zamindari Abolition Acts came, Zamindari was abolished, and the upper caste were eliminated, and in their place these OBCs, they became the big landholders. These Yadavs and Kurmis, they became the Bhumidars. And with the income coming from the land, they educated their children. And now Yadavs and Kurmis are doctors, engineers, judges, lawyers. They are no longer backward. So when they were backward before independence, they did not get reservation. But now that they are no longer backward, you are giving them reservation. Is this funny? Of course, they are poor in every community, even among Brahmins, there are some poor people. But I am saying relatively, Yadavs and Kurmis are no longer backward. So why should you give them reservation? This is absurd. When they needed reservation, you did not give, the British did not give anything to them. And when they are no longer backward, you are saying they are backward and giving them reservation. So Justice B.P. Jeevan Reddy said, what could I do? There was this Mandal Commission expert report and we had to decide. I said, whatever you have done, but I'm saying your judgment is not correct. So whatever the merit of the Dalit reservation may be, that also was useful for some time, but it should not continue anymore. But so far as OBC is concerned, it is pure fraud. It was never justified because they are no longer backward. But it's just become vote bank politics. These politicians, they get benefit from this, and that is why it is continuing. As long as the system continues, reservation will continue. Everybody will, they may say whatever they want to say, but in practice they are afraid of losing their vote banks. So they will continue, it's just vote bank politics.
So, I understand when you say, when you blame people or when you say people are fools, so I can partly understand it. And I can understand when you blame politicians.
I don't say all are fools, I say 90%.
Okay, so...
You may be in the 10%.
No, let me ask you. Okay, so now I'm asking this question based on the places that I have seen personally, right? For example, I'll pick my town. I come from a small town, and my family members have voted, right?
Which town?
It's from Andhra, it's not Tamil Nadu. So,
Andhra, okay.
So let's say I get 2 idiots contesting elections or 3 idiots contesting elections, and aren't people in a way forced to pick from these 3 idiots?
Listen, I never...
Is there a way to say I don't like any of them?
I don't go to vote. I have never cast my vote, and I will never cast my vote.
Is that good for the country?
Yes, whether good or bad, because I don't believe in the system.
No, you cannot say whether it's good or bad for the country.
Why should I vote for prefer one scoundrel to another scoundrel?
So,
scoundrel,
okay. That's my question, sir. Sir, that's my question. Exactly, that's my question.
You people of Andhra Pradesh, now listen to me. I have been receiving a lot of Facebook messages.
No, we don't need to generalize people of Andhra Pradesh, people of Tamil Nadu. the question that I asked is a common problem across the nation. I have 3 or 4 idiots contesting the election. Is there a way for an individual to say no to any of them right now?
You don't cast your vote?
What's that?
You don't go and cast your vote, sit at home. I do, that's what I do.
I don't think that's good for me.
And then all right, do whatever you think is good. What can I say? You people, pardon me for saying so, I got a lot of Facebook messages from people from Andhra Pradesh. Sir, we were promised special status when Andhra Pradesh was being bifurcated. When Andhra Pradesh was being bifurcated into Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. The Congress and BJP both said that special status will be given to Andhra Pradesh. So they said, sir, please demand special status for Andhra Pradesh. I said, you people are fools. You believed in the promises of politicians. Politicians at the time of election will promise the moon. But it is people are fools that you believed in a politician promise. Why did you believe it? Now you are saying, oh sir, they are not fulfilling their election promise of giving us special status. I said, you are a bunch of fools. Why did you rely on the promise of a politician? Politicians will promise the moon, everything will be promised. I don't trust these politicians. So, special status, naturally they wanted your votes, they promised that. Yes.
My question, my name is Vijay. One more stand up. Okay, so you said the solution is revolution, right? What do you mean revolution? Imagine there is no barriers, no nothing. Just you were purely in a dream sense that what exactly, how that is going to be?
I cannot tell you the details, what kind of, it's very difficult to predict what form there have been many kinds of revolutions. There have been the British Revolution, the French Revolution, the American Revolution, the Russian Revolution, the Chinese Revolution. What form the revolution will take, it is very difficult to predict. But a revolution means not just change in the government. It's change in the lives of the people. A revolution, by a revolution I conceive of a revolution which raises the standard of living of the masses, which abolishes poverty, which you have a set of people in power who are modern minded and genuinely patriotic. What form it will take is very difficult to predict. See, what I am saying is, within the present constitutional system, the country cannot progress.
The constitution should change?
Yes, the constitution has to be abolished. This constitution has exhausted itself. Constitution is finished. Constitution set up parliamentary democracy. Constitution set up parliamentary democracy. And parliamentary democracy means rule by majority, and majority are fools. So how can the country progress with parliamentary democracy? A parliamentary democracy is ruled by idiots and criminals. Large number of these people in parliament have criminal backgrounds, because you don't see whether he's a good man or bad man. You just see his caste or creed, and like sheep and cattle you cast 90% of it. So how will the country progress within this system?
Hello sir, my name is Ram. It is all ours to be with you. My question is regarding freedom of speech. Now the state where we are in is like we cannot freely express our opinion. Like for example Jallikattu. If I say I support Jallikattu, I'm the other side of animal lovers, for example. So my question is how to handle this? How do you handle freedom of speech? You just go on and say whatever you want, or is that how you should approach?
Freedom can be absolute. Too much freedom is also bad. Should you have the freedom to spread casteist ideas or communal ideas or hatred among the public? No freedom can be absolute. Freedom can be only a means to an end. It can't be an end in itself. The end must be raising the standard of living of the masses. If your freedom of speech helps that, is welcome, but if supposing it obstructs that. See, these people in Kashmir, they are demanding freedom. I am also a Kashmiri, of course, most of them are Muslim, but because I am a Kashmiri, they trust me, they communicate with me. And I said, do you people, you keep on demanding Azadi for Kashmir. Have you ever thought of the implications? Because your leaders are Islamic fundamentalists. If Kashmir becomes independent, then Sharia law will be imposed and you will go back into the Middle Ages. Is that what you want? These leaders, separatist leaders, they are all Islamic fundamentalists. So that freedom must not be allowed. You can't be given freedom to take the country backward and spread backward ideas. This Azad, I said, if Azadi to Kashmir, independence to Kashmir, raises the standard of living of the Kashmiri people, I will support it. But then you demonstrate it. Demonstrate to me that if Kashmir becomes independent, the standard of living of the Kashmiri people will go up. But nobody can demonstrate it to me. I keep asking them, they can't answer me. And I said, see, you Kashmiris, you have a massive handicraft industry in Kashmir. And they have a huge market in India. You go to any town of India, there are shops of these Kashmiri Muslims. They bring their handicrafts from Kashmir and sell their goods there. I went to Kovalam beach near Trivandrum, and there were shops of Kashmiri Muslims. My wife can speak Kashmiri. I am Kashmiri, but I can't speak Kashmiri, but my wife can. So she started speaking with them. They were very happy. So in every town in India, there are these shops of Kashmiris who bring their handicrafts from Kashmir and sell. If Kashmir is separated from India, they won't be able to come to India, because then you can't come without a visa, and visa is very difficult to obtain. So will they not be ruined? I've asked these Kashmiris that you people demand Azadi without even thinking of the consequences. All your workers will get ruined, unemployed, because they can't sell their goods. The businesses will collapse, and then if Kashmir becomes independent, it will, the leader will be the Islamic fundamentalists who are all bunch of feudal idiots, feudal bigots. Do you want Kashmir to become like that? All women will be compelled to wear burqa. Meera will not be sitting with this lovely coat here, she will be wearing a veil. And I believe in banning the veil. No choice should be given to women. To be feudal, no choice should be given. Some people say, oh, give the women the choice whether to wear the veil or no. I said, no. Feudalism should not be backward. See, this burqa is nothing but backward. It degrades women. And if you can't understand that, then you must be forced, like a child, you must be forced to understand. They must, like in France, they have banned it. You must not give a choice to a woman whether to wear a veil or not. You will not be allowed to wear it. You will be punished if you wear a veil. That is what I would do. I want my country to become modern. So all freedom should not be allowed. Freedom to wear burqa must not be allowed. Freedom to observe Sharia law must not be allowed. It must be abolished. This is backwardness, and we must move forward into the modern age. Too much freedom is also bad.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, Judge Katju. My name is Rajesh. Thanks for being with us here. My question is about social media. So, what kind of a role you think the social media seems to be playing? On one side, it could help bring in the revolution in a unique way, which wasn't achievable. On another side, it could also consolidate the populist beliefs, which you just said. The 90% becomes 90%, and you cannot overcome. Which side you think it's going to tilt?
Let me tell you my own experience. To be very frank, the media, the mainstream media, the press, national press, the television channels, they boycott me, because I have said, you people are often you divert attention of the people from the real issues, which are poverty and unemployment and malnourishment and so on, to non-issues like lives of film stars and cricket and this and that. You people play an anti-national role. You are in the hands of corporates, you have sold your conscience to corporates. So I very strongly criticize the media. So the result has been they don't publish my articles, they don't invite me to TV shows and so. Okay, I have no problem. But I have the Facebook, so I put all my ideas on the Facebook. They can't ban me from that. So I am very thankful that social media exists. I can present at least somewhere, and I have got more than 700,000 followers. Not that I have asked them, anybody to become my followers. I am least interested in anybody becoming my follower or not, but there they are, because people want to know the truth. So social media is a channel through which truth can be told. The newspapers will not publish it. When I say these newspapers are sold out to corporates, they befool the public. So that for that reason they are very hostile to me. So thankfully I have the Facebook on which I can express my idea, short ideas on Twitter also. So I am very grateful to the social media that at least truth can be said somewhere. These papers, they will not publish it.
Hi, my name is Preeti, and I think in the previous answer you were giving, there is a lot of funding come from a different country to convert people in Muslims.
Sorry, I didn't follow what you were saying. Please speak slowly.
Okay. Yeah, my question is, there is a lot of international funding come to people to convert in a Muslim, like Middle East, and how, like Zakir Naik, and they are spreading, they have their own channels, and so, and they believe in radical Islam. So how India can deal with that?
People should convert from religion to science. This is what I believe. This Zakir Naik is a big fraud. He was given a license to spread all. You know what he said once? You can see it on YouTube. When people asked him about demolition of the Bamiyan Buddha in Afghanistan, he said this was necessary to educate the Buddhists. Now just imagine what kind of mentality this man has. Somebody's, it must have, in Bamiyan Buddha were these big statues in Afghanistan, made maybe 2000 years ago by the ancestors of the present Afghans, who have now become Muslims. And they were destroyed by these Talibanis, the fanatics. And this fellow Zakir Naik said that this was necessary to educate the Buddhists. What kind of man is he? What kind of mentality is he? He is a feudal bigot. So the bigotry must be stamped out, they must be locked up. Such people should be either locked up or shot. You can't be give liberty to these people who preach hatred, who preach feudal ideas, bigotry, telling that this was done to educate. How will you like it when if some Hindu temple is destroyed or Kaaba of the Muslims is destroyed? Will you like it? Wonderful. Bamiyan Buddha was destroyed to educate the Buddhists. Funny man.
Hello, sir. My question is regarding our constitution and the system that we talked about. So you said you don't have faith in the system, like you lost faith in the system. So a lot of people here, like we lost faith in our political system. So all the politicians, most of the politicians are corrupt. So in order to change
most of the politicians in which country?
I'm talking about Indian politics only. So.
India, yes.
So, when the system is corrupt and a lot of the politicians are corrupt, we need to change the system. For each and everything, we cannot assume the revolution would be the right way. We cannot protest for each and every right or each and everything. So, I almost think even if you take you talked about the reservation system, the laws for religious laws, we have laws based on religions too in India. So for all these things, I almost think our constitution needs to be rewritten or rephrased to the current situation. What is your opinion?
Listen, supposing you rewrite the constitution and say that hereby poverty is abolished, do you think by writing in constitution poverty will actually be abolished? Or you write in the constitution that unemployment is abolished in India? You keep writing anything, it means nothing. What is in fact being done, that is more important. So it is not what is just by writing so many things in the constitution as if it will make a difference. India has massive problems of poverty, unemployment, corruption, price rise, malnourishment, health care. This requires a superhuman effort. The whole nation must rise up. It's a tremendous job. It's not an easy job, I can tell you. And patriotic people are required. People who are genuine patriots. You know, in the American Revolution, if you read the history from 1775 to 1781, these people who fought in it, George Washington, who commanded the army, he was a big farmer in Virginia. He could have sat back in Virginia and enjoyed life, but he offered his service to his country, for which he could have been killed in the war. But he was a patriot. He loved his country, and he said, my country has called me for some duty, I have to serve my country. So although he was a very rich man, he faced death. Similarly, many other, Jefferson was also who wrote the American Declaration of Independence. He was a very rich farmer of Virginia. He could have sat back in Virginia and said, let me relax and enjoy life. Why should I take the trouble of fighting the war against the British? But these people were patriots. A patriot who is one who does not care for his own personal benefit, but he risks his life for the service of his country. So today in India we require such people. But what do I see? Largely, pardon me for saying so, even among you young people, all of you want to have comfortable lives, get good jobs, either in a big corporation in India or migrate to America, as you people have done, and live comfortable lives. So who is going to look after India? We require patriots who are prepared to give their life for the country, like George Washington, like Thomas Jefferson. These people, you know, put their lives at stake, although they could have easily sat at home and enjoyed life. But they said, we have to serve our country.
Honorable Justice Katju, my name is Ramraj. I actually, after your last answer, I'm a little more disheartened now. You said Constitution doesn't mean anything. But in this country, the US, Constitution means everything. Why do you think that's the case?
No, Constitution means something. I don't say it doesn't mean anything, but I say more important than the Constitution is what happens in reality. Supposing in India you make a Constitution which mentions hereby from today poverty is abolished, from today unemployment is abolished. Will it mean anything? It will mean nothing. It's all empty gas. What happens on the ground is more important. So I'm not saying that Constitution is not important, but even more important is what happens on the ground. Yes.
I would like to get your opinion on uniform civil law. Is it necessary?
Absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary. This Sharia law is backward, outdated law. You see, law is a reflection of society, of social customs at a particular historical stage of a society's development. So, as society changes, the law must also change. Now, a law made in Arabia in 7th or 8th century AD, can you apply it in India today in the 21st century? I mean, it's absurd. It's just like saying, let us apply Manusmriti today. Can you apply Manusmriti today? Laws have to keep changing as society changes. But it is said, oh, law, Sharia is made by Allah, so it can't change. This is nonsense. Sharia did not come from Allah. Firstly, I don't believe there is a thing called Allah. However, Sharia emerged out of the social custom prevailing in Arabia in the 7th or 8th century AD. So, and if Sharia is abolished, Islam will not be abolished. You see, Hindu law was almost totally abolished in 1955 and 1956 by the Hindu Marriage Act and Hindu Succession Act. But Hinduism has not been abolished because of that. Hindus still go to temples and do puja and all. So if Sharia is abolished, Islam will not be abolished. Muslims will still keep going to mosque and saying the namaz and all. So this is nonsense. This is just another, these Maulanas, they are like leeches who are sucking the blood of the innocent, gullible Muslim people. These clerics and the political Muslim leaders, most of them are leeches who are keeping the Muslims backward. And I have put up a Facebook post that Muslims must remove these leeches from their bodies, because they will not let Muslim society move forward, these Maulanas and these Muslim politicians. They will, because their vested interest is in keeping Muslims backward. So they must be ousted.
Good evening, sir. My question is, why Indian judicial system is sluggish? It takes years and sometimes decades to get justice. So do you think the individual has enough time and money to pay the lawyers and the legal fees for such a long
See, I'll tell you, when I was a judge of Allahabad High Court, Allahabad High Court had made a norm that no judge of subordinate judiciary, between judges below the High Court level, no one should have more than 300 cases pending before him at one time. That is the maximum load he can carry. Once one subordinate judiciary judge came to meet me. He was Chief Judicial Magistrate, Kanpur Nagar. I asked him, how many cases are there in your court alone? He said 30,000. Now there should have been maximum 300. He had 30,000. Another judge came to meet me. I asked him, how many cases are there in your court alone? He said 21,000. Somebody got 15,000. Now if a man can carry 100 pounds of weight and one elephant is put on his head, what will happen? He will collapse. So this is what has happened. In America, also I think up to 1920s, they were feeling that too many cases are coming in court, we can't handle. See, because to decide a case takes time. A judge has to read the papers, he has to hear the arguments of both sides, he has to apply his mind. Then only a high quality judgment can come. It can't come in 1 second. So it takes time. So in America, 93% of your cases are never decided by courts. They are dealt with in mediation centers. You ask any lawyer whom you know, they are diverted to mediation centers. And mediators are trained people who know how to reconcile parties. There are various techniques. Mediation is also a skill. You have to be trained in it. So 93% cases are decided by mediation, which means there is no decision. The mediator helps people come to a compromise. Only 7% cases are decided because judges don't have so much time. And India has 33 million cases. How can you decide these huge backlog? Even assuming all judges are intelligent and all judges are honest and all that, yet the load is so heavy. You have to have alternate systems of dispute resolution. All this load the judiciary can't carry. The last section must be diverted to mediation and this and that.
Sir, my name is Vijay. Good evening to you. I have a question that based on your interaction with all the people, how many patriots do you think are there in India? 1 in 1,000, 1 in 10,000? Please count me as one of the patriots. My name is Vijay. So I'm wondering, people like you, if you can form a network, I mean, whoever do you think that is a patriot, if you can form an ethical network, which is supposed to be the guardian, positive law is there, government is there, but you can have a ethical structure, having people like you as foundation, and then people like me can do as a volunteer job, every weekend we can come and support you 1 hour. So what happens is at a community level, if you go and form such an ethical network from nation to region to state to local, I'm thinking that that can create amazing wonders basically, because you have one wise man and he is giving directions to say 50 young people like me, and we go to communities and we ask people what concerns they have. If we can organize such a way that there can be an education volunteer, there can be a health volunteer, there can be a law volunteer. So if you, for example, for 10,000 people, if you have one wise guy like you, if I have a law question, I will come to you. Or to your subordinate volunteer. Similarly, if there is a corruption of a healthcare issue, people doctors are abusing the society. So a doctor as a volunteer can give a proper guidance. Oh, you see, you have this problem, you go there, you will get a good rate, or some guidance, So I am thinking people like you should interact with the positive law. I am thinking the core issue here is globalization created three different evil side effects. In India, it created a short-term gain for people. Same people, when they go to corporate, they will become corporate greed. Same people, if they become an MLA, you will become a political greed. So I'm thinking the whole society is stinking now, because back in 70s when I was a college graduate, it was not like this. From 80s, the trend changed in India. Everybody now wants to become a millionaire. He don't care about this is not my street, my village anymore. I am in this town for now. I'll make money. I'll move to Hyderabad or Delhi, wherever. So because when times like you used to have that affection, this is my street, my village, my neighbors, that is not there anymore. So that is the core issue, I think, in India. Same globalization is having impact in Middle East as a fanatism, basically. Because now people are aware how the modern society is thinking. All the young Muslim guys, they want to have a good life. So unfortunately, this fanatism is because radicalization is happening there. In America, what happened is the same globalization led to affluenza, and then they became a little bit lazy. They want adventurous sports. They more violence, stuff like that. So I'm thinking all the three issues are mainly because of the side effects of globalization. Sir, I totally believe that natural law should be guided by people like you. Positive law should be taken care by the government. So I made a document having a 19 pages document observing 18 years what's happening from the past 8 years. I will give you this USB having all the links, the manifestation of globalization, the consequences, including nuclear issues, science and technology, because artificial intelligence is near there. When artificial intelligence happens, when people can start reading minds, where is the regulation in India, countries like India? You can have a drone with a video camera, go and watch neighbors' home, they can fly the drones, and then there's no privacy anymore. So when you have AI coming into picture, it will replace jobs tremendously. So without a bad government, bad governance, when the whole society stinks, I'm sure that there should be some kind of radical...
Okay, we will communicate by email.
Okay, sir. I will give you the USB.
You take care, yes.
So, before I forget, I just want to... My name is Vijay, sir.
Okay.
It was
What is this?
USB with the article,
Alright,
the 19-page
I
document.
can keep this.
Yeah, please.
Alright, thank you.
And then found me as one of the patriot of
Thank
India.
you. You can take my email ID from Kubi.
Okay. Please contact me, okay? Please respond to that.
You live here.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Alright.
Hello, sir. This is Sanjay. I've been following you from quite a long time, like almost a year or so, and more of because you are atheist, you do not believe in the God and those theories around it, and you believe in science. I'm also a very great proponent of science and scientific thoughts. My question is that India has been our oldest civilization, and what has happened is that we have a lot of Vedas and Granths and all sorts of philosophies there. And my question is that being such a rich philosophy, so-called a rich philosophy being in this country, but still I think if I scientifically define that and compare the country, it is like corruption is directly proportional to spirituality. That's my theory that there is a side effect of spirituality is that the corruption will prosper more. Unlike the West, which does not have any spirituality, but still the people are more honest than our country. So my question is, what have been lacking in our culture fundamentally that which we are not able to keep everybody honest? So that's my question.
What has happened in India is this. We are in a transitional period in our history. Transition from feudal society to a modern industrial society. At present in India, we are neither totally feudal nor totally modern. We are somewhere in between. Now, the feudal society had a moral code of conduct that has largely been smashed. Feudal society has largely been smashed. And yet, modern industrial society has not been created in India. So modern industrial society also has a code of ethics. Now in India we have neither the feudal code of ethics nor the modern code of ethics. There is no code of ethics in India. Now it's just free for all. Sabse bada rupaiya na bibi na maiya. Neither wife nor mother. Rupee is everything. People are just out there to grab money by hook or crook. There is no morality in India. So that is regarding the question of morality. About philosophy, I was talking to Meera. See, again, you people have not read philosophy. Everybody here, everybody is a jnani. Bade jnan se. See, because I was a student of Indian philosophy, and I was telling Meera, she is a great follower of Vedanta. And I said, Vedanta is rubbish. And I will tell you why. I mean, you people don't know, any ignorant person talking anything you like. See, there are 6 classical systems of Hindu philosophy and 3 non-classical. Classical system is Nyaya, Vaisheshik, Sankhya, Yoga, Purva Mimamsa and Uttar Mimamsa. Vedanta is also called Uttar Mimamsa, which Meera is a great admirer of. And I regard it as rubbish. I am a follower of the first philosophy, that is Nyaya philosophy. Nyaya philosophy is one of the Shat Darshans, the 6 classical systems. Nyaya philosophy says nothing is acceptable unless it is in accordance with reason and experience. And that is precisely the approach of science. There is no God in Nyaya philosophy. There are 16 categories and God is not one of them. It is an atheistic philosophy. In fact, 6 of the classical, out of the 6 classical Hindu systems of philosophy, 4 are atheistic. And of course the 3 non-classical, Buddhism, Jainism, and Charvaka, are also atheistic. So I believe that we should follow the Nyaya system, not the Vedanta system. The difference between Nyaya and Vedanta is, see, Vedanta believes that the world is Maya, unreal, and that everything is one Brahma. Vedanta is a monistic philosophy. Monistic means there is only one thing in the universe, that is Brahma. And it believes that the world is Maya, illusion. So I believe Vedanta talks nonsense. How can you say that Meera and I and this table and this bottle are all one? Does it appeal to your common sense? And if you feel hungry, why don't you say that the hunger is also Maya? Ignore it. Why do you eat food? This is on the face of it humbug. Nyaya philosophy is realistic and pluralistic. Realistic means it says that the world is real, it's not Maya, it's not an illusion. And pluralistic means that Nyaya philosophy says that there are many billions of entities in the world, not just one entity, Brahma. In other words, Nyaya philosophy says this table is different from Meera and different from the chair and different from me and different from the so many other things. There are billions of it. So Nyaya philosophy is pluralistic and realistic, unlike Vedanta. And I am a firm believer in the Nyaya philosophy. And this Vedanta, because here everybody becomes a Vedanti. It's very easy to get a PhD in Vedanta. You copy from here, copy from there, plagiarism, and you get your PhD in 10 days. All believers in Vedanta. World is illusion, Maya. What nonsense, on the face of it, it is false. This Vedanta philosophy is false. I said this in the BHU, the center of Hinduism, Banaras Hindu University. And a lot of these Pandits, they revolted when I said this. They stood up, why are you speaking against Vedanta? I said, because that is what I genuinely believe, that your Vedanta is humbug. Nonsense to say everything is table and a chair and this mic and Meera, all one. On the face of it, it is false. It is nonsense. And I believe in the Nyaya philosophy, which says nothing is acceptable unless it is in accordance with reason and experience, which is precisely the approach of science.
I believe Sukracharya was the proponent of
atheism. Someday, Meera, you sit with me, I will teach you Hindu philosophy. The point is, you people are jnanis. Without knowing anything, you start giving religious discourses. Kuch aata jata hai nahi. Kuch bhi bole jao. Economics, these PhDs from Harvard and Yale. See, I am not impressed by your high-sounding degrees, PhDs from Harvard and Yale and London School of Economics. The point is, what do you have here? Not one of them, these PhDs from Harvard or Yale or London School of Economics, can answer the question how to deal with the problem of recession and unemployment, which is the basic problem whole world is facing, including India. Not one can answer. So what use is this degree of Harvard or Yale? And no, I am not impressed by all these high-sounding degrees. So,
Last question.
Yes.
Sir, can you please reminisce on some of your interactions with our late Chief Minister, Srimati J. Jayalalitha?
Yes.
Some experience.
Frankly, when I was a very young man, I was in love with her. But I never met her. It was all one-sided love, unrequited love, because she was very beautiful when she was young. However, the first time I met her was in Madras when I went to take oath as Chief Justice of Madras High Court. So the oath is given in the Raj Bhavan, in the Governor's house. So about 20 minutes before the oath-taking ceremony, my wife and I were taken into one ante-room next to the big hall where the oath was to be given. And Jayalalitha also arrived within a minute or two thereafter. And I told her that, ma'am, what happened was that I telephoned from Allahabad to the senior judges of Madras High Court, and I requested them not to come to the airport to receive me because it was a working day and it was 2 p.m. when the court is sitting. It doesn't look nice that you leave your court and rush to the airport to do what will the public think. The judges are doing psychophancy of the Chief Justice. So it doesn't look nice. And that was the custom, I believe, in Madras High Court. Whenever any Chief Justice would come, all the judges would leave their courtroom, even during working hours, and rush to the airport, Chennai airport, to present the Chief Justice with bouquets and all that. So at my request, nobody came. I told this Jayalalitha. She was very happy. She said, at least we have a disciplinarian who has come as Chief Justice. So she was happy. And see, corruption everybody does, so I don't blame her. You can't do politics without corruption in India. But otherwise, she was a sophisticated lady, cultured lady. She could speak Hindi like I could speak, as fluently. She started speaking to me in Hindi, very fluently. And cultured lady, sophisticated lady. And she never tried to influence my functioning as a Chief Justice. She never sent any message to me that you recommend such and such name for appointment as Judge of the High Court. Never. And I respected her for that. But this Shashi Kala, I don't know what has happened. I mean, it's disgraceful for you Tamilians. A person who has been convicted for gross corruption, who is in Bangalore jail, she is running your government from jail. And I believe some of your ministers, even your chief minister, all keep rushing to Bangalore from time to time to get instructions from her. What has happened to Tamil Nadu? I am so sad. I regard myself a Tamilian, but I am very sad about it.
3.5 hours of non-stop thinking, listening, and talking. Let's give a huge round of applause to Justice Katju. I only have a great and tremendous sense of appreciation to Mrs. Katju. Thank you, ma'am, for marrying, loving, caring, and feeding this young man. And sir, on behalf of Indian community of Sacramento, we have a small plea for you. I mean, we have a lot of plea, but this is a more personal plea. This whole reunification with Pakistan, can you do it before 2019 so that we can win the Cricket World Cup defeating Australia?
I'll try my best, but have you drafted the resolution, the appeal to the whole world to help the farmers, Tamil Nadu farmers?
Oh, yes.
I'm going to...
Or you can just speak about it. You can speak about it that we are going to issue an appeal.
So what Justice Katju keeps referring to is he would like us, on behalf of Sacramento community, Indian community, to draft a resolution to fight for the plight of farmers. I mean, this is not just farmers in Tamil Nadu, this is also farmers in the whole of our country. You know, as one thing that is quite evident in our conversation today is how important farming is. And farming has been continuously dying, and if farming continues to die, and then food becomes extinct. Our goal is to draft a resolution to support the farmers. The government, at the federal level as well as at the state level, has to stand with the farmers, and they have to support the farmer during the years of drought, during the years of famine, so that no farmer commits suicide. And then the farming community as such is not afraid of farming. That's what is happening in India. The farmers don't want to farm because they're afraid of farming. So we, on behalf of the Indian community of Sacramento, will draft a resolution and then circulate it to our peers, within the state of California as well as in the rest of America, so that this petition can be signed. This will be an online petition, and this petition, which is basically originating from the justice, will be circulated to the government of India as well as to the relevant state governments.
And the resolution is passed just now. All Indians will in support of the Tamil Nadu farmers. We are passing the resolution. Please raise your hand, all those who are supporting that. So the resolution is passed, and all of us are going to support the Tamil Nadu farmers who are in great distress.
Thank you, sir. So this has been a very phenomenal event, and so it is my responsibility to render the vote of thanks. So a lot of people, a lot of volunteers have actually stood behind this event, and I have to name them, and I have to go through a list of names, so please be patient with me. So let me quickly read through the volunteers, and so you will realize the scale of this event. Gopi Ramaswamy, Ram Kandasamy, Maragaravel Velusamy, Balakrishnan Radhakrishnan, Karthik Kuppusamy, Annadharai Govindasamy, Parameshwaran Muttuvel, Don Bosco Anthony, Shrikant Pichai, Saravanan Mani, Prasad Kumaran, Saravana Vijayan, Shekhar Perumal, Jasu Augustin, Sridhar, Sundar Pasupati, Hari Venkat, Meera Dande, Satya Sivakumaran, Mohan Arunachalam, Karthik Gandhi, Raj Balagurunathan, Ram Raj, Gokul, Sam Venkat, Manjunath Kumar, Mani Kalpati, Selvi Murugesan. So we also would like to thank Masonic Center for giving this beautiful facility to host this event. And our thank also goes to Ruchi India Cuisine and Tirupati Cuisine of Folsom. And last but not the least, Mr. Sam right there. Sam Chelapan. Any event that is hosted by Tamil community or the Indian community, he comes up with these huge audio systems. And he not only donates these systems for these events, he also spends his time with us, making sure that the voice of us, the voice of community, and voice of our guest is heard for the rest of us. So thank you, Sam, for continuing to support us. And last but not the least, Sacramento, city of Sacramento has proven that this is what diversity and freedom of speech is all about. I know Justice Katju is going to be visiting other cities, and let me challenge other cities to be as diverse and as open, in terms of posting questions and discussing discussing issues, in a very open forum, forgetting our differences. Many of you may not agree with something that were discussed today, but again, this is the essence of free speech, and this is what we Californians, we Americans, and we Indians, and we as a member of this great universe, should stand. Freedom of speech and unity in diversity. So with that said, thank you again for your esteemed presence, and thank you, Justice Katju. And please add Justice Katju as your Facebook friend.
Yes.
It only gets interesting from here.
700,000 and counting.
Yeah, he says you just need to follow him, you don't need a friend request. But you can chat with him. So those who would like to take pictures, can I? Yes, of course. So yeah, please take pictures with Justice Katju.